welcome back to my channel. It is so good to see you all. I feel like it's been a minute or two. I took last week off. I was visiting my oldest son and we had a blast. It does feel good to be home though, and I'm very excited about today's episode. We are going to be jumping into some really fun projects to help us get a few of our supplies organized in our craft room. So without further ado, let's just jump right into our projects. Our first project today is going to be some cute little wire projects. We're going to be working with some wire, and it's new to me. I've never ever done this before, so we are just going to be learning together, and I'm looking forward to trying this. I love to challenge myself to new things. So y'all, here's what we're going to work on. We're going to work on some cute little wire craft to help get our like jute and ribbons and all that kind of stuff organized. So I don't know about you, but this is what my my ribbons and jute kind of looks like right now. A lot of times when I am working and I have, like small end pieces or whatnot, I kind of tend to just throw them in a pile. But I don't like to waste them because they are usable. So this is what it looks like right now. So we're going to work on some cute things to get this pile organized. I think we are going to have so much fun with this project. So we will just need a few supplies. We're going to need some really heavy duty wire, and I picked up this ook, I think that's how you say it, ook wire at Walmart. I got a 16 gauge and an 18 gauge because I just wasn't sure which one would be easiest to work with, and in the end I did decide to go with the 18 gauge because it just felt a lot sturdier. We will also need some accent wire, so I have this copper wire that I got at Hobby Lobby that we're just going to use for some fun embellishments, and also this black wire I picked up at Hobby Lobby, which is a 16 gauge. But this particular wire felt a lot sturdier than the 18 gauge in the ook wire, so I'm not exactly sure what that was all about because this one was 18 gauge and the black was 16 gauge. So anyway, then I went into the shop and just cut some dowels to the length that I thought I would want them, and then I drilled some holes in them on either end. So we're going to start by cutting a length, just a fairly good length of wire, and I didn't even really measure this. I just kind of cut what I thought looked right. So we'll start by wrapping the wire around on one side of our dowel. And this 18 gauge wire wrapped pretty easily. It wasn't too difficult to wrap. And then after I wrapped it, I just took my pliers and kind of pressed down that cut end so it wasn't sharp and pokey. Then I decided to cut it at about, I think this was about 6 or 7 inches tall, and then strung that other half into the opposite side of our dowel, wrapped that around very much just like I did the first one. After I get this all wrapped around, I'm going to go ahead and press that into place, and then we're going to connect our 2 wires in the center so that we can make like a hanger hook. Okay, so to connect our wires, I'm going to just bring them together in the center and then start wrapping the wire around each other. So that long wire I wrapped to the right side of the wire, and then the short little pokey out wire I wrapped around the right side of the wire. I hope that makes sense. And then I did trim that up, and I used my pliers to kind of, wrap it around and smash it a little bit so that there was no sharp point on this. So what I did learn here though, y'all, with this is that when you wrap your long wire to the right side, it shortened it a little bit. So in the next one, we won't do that. We will just wrap with our shorter wire around the long wire, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about when we move on to making the next one. All right, so let's form our hook now to make like our little hanger here. And to form this, I kind of just start playing with it and shaping it a little bit, but then I got the idea, let's use a big wide dowel to help me shape this and get it perfectly round. So I ran out to the shop, grabbed this big wide dowel, dowel. I think this was like from a curtain, the curtain rod size dowel here. So it's like the widest one I could find. And I just use this to kind of shape my dowel, and it does help. It gets it nice and round. And then I will go ahead and cut off the excess on the end there because we don't want our hook to be too long. And y'all, look how cute this is. I think it came out really good for our very, very first attempt. I feel like for my very first attempt, I did an okay job wrapping this. It's a little bit crooked, but for the most part, it looks pretty good. And you know, we just learn as we go, right? Okay, so for this next one, we're going to use these cute little spindles that I had in my stash. And I do believe I got these on Amazon, so I will try to link them in the description box for y'all. So for this one, I thought, let's get smarter and let's pre-wrap our ribbon around this before we add the wire, because it just will be a lot easier. So that's what I'm going to do here, is just pre-wrap the ribbon, and then once I get it all wrapped around this, I do tape it in place so it doesn't come undone while we're working with our wire. Let's give this black wire a try. This is the wire, that 16 gauge that I got at Hobby Lobby. And honestly, this one, I don't know what the difference is, but this one really does feel as sturdy as that 18 gauge silver wire that I got at Walmart. So I thought it would be kind of fun to use black on this one. So what I'm going to do is wrap around the wire around those little grooves on the ends of our spindles here. So I just cut a piece to length, and I cut 2 pieces here, but one piece I cut a little bit longer so that we can have that extra length to make the hanger part, the hook part of our hanger. So I just wrapped this around 2 or 3 times, and then came in with my pliers and pressed that end down to get it nice and flat so that we don't have any sharp edges poking through. So I wrapped both ends of the spindle, and then I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping my wire around the long part of this. So this is where I learned my lesson from the first one. That long side, which is on the left-hand side, don't wrap that one. We're just going to use the right-hand side wire, the shorter wire, to wrap around the longer wire. I really hope that makes sense, because that was a little confusing even as I was saying it, but you can kind of see what I did here. So after I got it wrapped, we're going to go ahead and start forming our wire, and I formed the, not our wire, our hook, and I formed the hook on this one the same way I did on our previous one. And on the end of this hook, I decided to make just kind of a little bend, little curly Q thing there, just to make that end piece a little less sharp. And I really also like the way it looks. I think this one came out so cute. And you know, practice does make perfect, because we did a lot better job on this one. I love how it turned out. For this one, we're also going to use a dowel. However, instead of drilling the holes from front to back, I drilled the holes on either end of this one, and I drilled those holes about 1 inch deep. So I'm going to go ahead and insert my wire into one hook and then bend it up over the dowel to make kind of a little leg of sorts. And you'll kind of see what I mean with this one. So I insert it and then bend it up so that it makes like this little leg right here, as you see. Because this one, we're actually going to shape it square. I thought it'd be really kind of cool to have a square one. So I just keep working the wire until I get it, you know, even on both sides, which was a little bit tricky, but so I just kept fiddling with it, but I did finally get it. And then I decided, once I kind of felt like both sides were equal, I start wrapping that again. So I bend the section up that's going to be the little hook, and then take the shorter piece of wire and wrap it up around the section that's going to create the hook. So I hope that makes sense to y'all. I hope you can kind of see here what I'm doing. I'm just kind of wrapping it up around that longer section. And
this is probably my best wrap so far. I was able to get all of them really tight together, and it just makes like, it looks really cool. It just makes this cool little spirally wrap. So the closer you get them together, I think the better and cleaner it actually looks. All right, so our shape is still not quite perfectly square here. So what I decided to do was run out to the shop and cut myself a little block of wood. And I'm just using that wood and my soft mallet hammer to kind of pound the wire up against that wood and get it really straight. And it did a good job for the most part. I mean, there was still a few little bumps in the wire, but this really did help me get this shaped fairly square. Okay, so here is what we have so far, and I like the way this is turning out. It's not as square as I wanted it to be. It kind of still looks like it like bows out on the ends a little, but you know, I keep saying it, practice makes perfect here. So we'll go ahead and form our hook on this one, and then we can add a spool of ribbon to this and see what it looks like. Okay, y'all, so I think I really like this particular style the very best so far out of all the ones that we've created, just because it's really easy to get the dowel on and off of the wire hanger for adding ribbon. Like if this one runs out, it's really easy to add more to it so that we're not winding it around like we did with the spindle ones. And this particular one actually held 3 spools of ribbon perfectly. How cute is this, y'all? I really love it when you can create something that's super functional and really cute at the same time. Okay, so I went ahead and created this one off camera, and I got this one a lot more square than the other one, so it just takes a little bit of patience and a little bit of fiddling with it, and using the wood block to shape it into a perfect square really was helpful. And on this one I thought it would be really cute just to add a little bit of embellishment to it with the copper wire, and then I'm just going to add in a spool of jute, and y'all, I really love this. So, so, so cute.
What do y'all think of our cute little jute and ribbon wire hangers? I love them. I think they came out so cute, and I love that you can make your craft supplies look cute and be functional at the same time. I'm especially loving now having all of my jute and ribbons and whatnot all more easily accessible, because in the past I've just kind of had them in bins or, you know, organizational bins or drawers even, and I would be in the middle of a project and go, where's my jute? So now I have everything much more easily accessible, and I think I'm going to really enjoy this. So I did get another idea though while I was working on our fun little wire hangers. I thought it would be fun to make some old-fashioned spools as well, and we can use those to add like our thicker, you know, the wider ribbons and whatnot too. So we're gonna run out to the shop and work on creating some really cute, fun wooden spools.
So to start this project off, I just drew some round circles on just some scrap wood that we had laying around in our scrap wood bin. We always have a ton of scrap wood, and I love using it for projects. So I cut these rounds out on my scroll saw, but when I was cutting them out, I wasn't trying to be super precise, because I'm actually going to take it to the grinder after I finish cutting these out to clean up all of my edges and make it into a perfect circle. This is actually a little trick that Michael taught me, and it really does kind of work miracles, because sometimes it's really hard to cut a perfect circle on the scroll saw. So it's really nice to be able to use the grinder to just finish up our circle and make it really perfectly round. So the next step in this is I need to find center on my round here, my wood round. So I drew my wood round out on a piece of paper, cut it out, and then we're going to, this is a really cool trick, y'all. So then we're just going to cut it out, fold this spear in half. Well, actually first I do make sure that it fits my round perfectly, because that is an important step to find perfect center. Then I'm going to fold it in half, make sure I get a really good crease on that, fold it in half again, make sure I get a really good crease, and fold it in half one more time. And then when we open this up, the point there will make nice creases in the very center, and voila, we have perfect center for our wood round. And this is a great hack for making sure that you get your holes drilled perfectly center. So now I'm going to take this over to the drill press, and using a Forstner bit, I just drilled an 1/8 inch hole into the center of this, because this is these little rounds are the tops and the bottoms of our spools, and then I'm going to put a really wide dowel in the center of these. So you can see my dowel over there. I just cut them to various different lengths, and then I'm going to glue in the top section. I'm just using some wood glue to glue the top section in on all 3 of these, but I didn't want to glue the bottom section because I want to be able to take that bottom section off so that we can actually more easily just slip a spool of ribbon or whatnot over the top of these. So I end up doing screws on the bottom part, and I'll show you how I did that in just a second. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and pre-drill the bottom of our round so that we can insert a screw into these so that we can easily remove the bottom for slipping on ribbon or whatnot onto our dowel part. So because I want the screws to sit flush, because the screws are going to be on the bottom so that you don't really see it, and I want them to fit flush, so we're using a countersink bit here to counter that in or sink that in a little bit so that the screw will sit flush. I hope that made sense, y'all. I feel like sometimes I just stutter so badly over my words, but I think you guys get it, right? Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and screw this to the bottom part of our dowel, and then I love this, y'all. So how cute are these cute little wooden spools? I just love them. I mean, they remind me of something that I would see like at my grandma's house or something. Okay, so I have this really cool spool. This is actually a bobbin. This is like an old-fashioned bobbin, and I really loved the way this looked, so I kind of wanted to try and recreate something that looked very similar, and Michael came out and he decided to give me a helping hand here. He's so sweet that way. So we were just measuring out a big wide dowel for that very bottom piece, and then a skinnier dowel for the top piece. After getting the length, the desired length on these, we take it over to the bandsaw and cut it. And this part makes me really nervous. I don't like it when Michael gets his hands so close to the blade. Sometimes I just have to turn my eyes away and not look. So then we took it over to the sander and sanded down so we could kind of round off all the edges, and then used our handy little trick to find center on this. Take it over to the drill press, and using a Forstner bit, we just drilled, I believe we did a 1/2 inch here so that we can make sure our dowel is held in there really sturdy. And then we just put some glue inside of this and glue our dowel in, and I let it sit up for, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 minutes to give that glue a little bit of time to dry before I moved on to painting them. And so this is kind of what I was going for. It's close. It looks cute in the end. All right, let's go ahead and give these things a little bit of paint to kind of make them look a little bit more rustic and antique. So I just started off by using some burnt umber that I watered down to kind of create a stain of sorts. And then after I painted all of these with the burnt umber, I decided they weren't quite dark enough for me, so then I mixed up a little black paint, just a little bit of black chalk paint with some water, and went back over all of them to just darken them and make them look even more antique-y. After I let all of the stain on these dry, you can see how I darkened them up with the black stain, and I really like the way that looks so much better. So to finish off this little spool here, the bobbin spool, that's what we're going to call it, I wanted to add a little bit of wire to the bottom of this, so I just wrapped a little wire around, but I did struggle a little here. The wire didn't want to stay in place, so I finally got it. It just took me a little time, and y'all, it turned out really cute. I love how this looks. It does look very vintage.
Oh, that was so much fun, y'all. I really love how our cute little wooden spools turned out. They're gonna be so much fun. I just love that we can make all of our crafty things look cute and functional at the same time. I know I said that, but I'm just kind of excited and feel a little bit giddy about just having everything so much more organized and looking really cute at the same time. So what do y'all think? You're gonna have to let me know down below in the comments what project was your favorite. Did you love the little wire hangers, or did you like the wooden spools better, or did you just like them both equally the same? I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I had fun hanging out today. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to spend some time with me. I appreciate you all so much, and I'm looking so forward to seeing you all again next week. Until then, y'all take care, and I will see you soon. Bye.